What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again once again, and it looks like Recluse is getting nerfed. Now only if only a devilishly handsome, eloquent, positively astute, charming, always right, and above all else, incredibly modest Striker Titan didn't call this, I don't know, 3 days before it actually happened? If only.
There are those who said this day would never come. What are they to say now?
So, what does this Recluse nerf look like? Well, according to Bungie, the change affects Master of Arms. They removed the precision damage modifier. Recluse will continue to receive a damage bonus from Master of Arms, but damage will not default to precision values when the perk activates. Many doubted the Recluse when it was first announced, but it has proven resilient to being squashed. Although the precision damage modifier did not actually improve the efficiency of the weapon at its best, it did allow for fairly mindless spraying to be just as good as concentrated aiming. After considering various options on what to do with it, the decision was made to remove that part of the functionality and preserve its activation methods. The alternative was leaving it in, an effect we believe to be too strong for a legendary weapon. So this is a rather amusing statement. It starts out with Bungie saying, well, but actually, the precision damage modifier didn't actually improve the effectiveness of this weapon. Then go on to say that, well, they actually believe it was too strong for a legendary weapon. So which is it? And why not just make it an exotic then? But the real question is, was this nerf good enough to bring Recluse in line, or does this nerf not really matter? Largely, that's going to depend on what platform you play. On PC, where the gun is a laser, I don't think very much will change. And I think that will largely remain true, unless Recluse gets a rework on how it works on mouse and keyboard. On console, however, where the weapon already suffers from some really noticeable kick, I think the weapon might be pretty DOA. Then again, I'm not saying anything that people don't already think or don't already realize or haven't already said. So for those of you who don't know, Recluse in PvP is a 19 per crit, 11 per body shot weapon. When Master of Arms is activated, that 19 per crit goes to 25 per crit, and that 11 per shot body shot damage goes to 25 per shot body shot damage. This takes the weapon's time to kill from a 0.67 seconds to a 0.47 seconds. On crits, Master of Arms increases Recluse's damage by a respectable 31.8%. However, when it comes to body shot damage, Master of Arms increases that damage by 127.27%. I'll assume, though we have no way of knowing until it actually happens, that Bungie will be bringing that 127% increase in line with the 31% increase. Meaning Recluse with Master of Arms activated will do something like 14 to 15 points of damage per body shot, but that number will be heavily rounded. Now, why does this matter? Well, it all comes back to viability. The weapon will still get a respectable 31% buff, even when you get a kill with another weapon. So, on paper, this is still a really good weapon. On paper. Like I said at the beginning of this video, on PC, Recluse will be largely fine. Essentially, what this nerf will do on PC is sand down the edges of its PvP and PvE viability just a little bit. However, on console, while I think the PvE viability will arguably remain largely the same because, let's be honest, you're just shooting AI, the weapon is DOA when it comes to PvP. And that all comes back to the kick of the weapon. Now, I want to be absolutely positively clear. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying here. I have no love for Recluse whatsoever. They could have taken it out of the fucking game, and I wouldn't have shed a tear. But what we have here is another example of a weapon being nerfed in a way that screams, Bungie just did this for PC, and they only tested it on PC. Now, nobody is ever going to accuse Bungie of having the best quality assurance team in the world. You know what? They do a job, and I'm sure they're all great people, but after the Niobe Labs fiasco, we're all pretty disillusioned. And there's just sometimes that Bungie buffs or nerfs something, and you look at it and you go, really? Did you playtest this, like, at all? And you know what? As fun as it is to see Recluse basically nerfed off of console, it does, in a lot of ways, encapsulate an issue that I really don't see anyone talking about, but I think everybody has thought about. how Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, that and how PC and console need to be balanced separately. We've talked about this somewhat before when talking about hand cannons. If you wish to see the difference between PC and console, look no further than the dominant hand cannons on the two platforms. On PC, it's Ace of Spades. On console, it's Luna's Howler Not Forgotten. And that goes back to recoil and bloom, things that are dictated by the fundamental way that players interface with their given platform. So if you're going to have two completely different set of rules governing the way that guns handle based on interface, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to blanket nerf across both platforms. The separation of buffs and nerfs when it comes to PC and console is, in my mind, vastly more important than the separation of PvE and PvP. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and like always, stay frosty.